in the shadowy depths of a forgotten toy factory, where laughter once danced with the clank of machinery, you return as an intruder, a lone seeker of truth, in a realm trapped in mystery. Years have passed since you walked these halls, but whispers of the past beckon you back. Workers vanish without a trace, swallowed by the very walls that once cradled their dreams. But this is no ordinary factory. Here, the air is thick with secrets, and the toys that once brought joy now harbor dark intentions. Echoes of the enigmatic founder linger, his legacy twisted by time into something monstrous. As you tread cautiously through the maze of forgotten playrooms, the line between reality and nightmare blurs. For those who don't know, I have released the first chapter of my mascot horror game called the VIKMO Show. It's the most project that I'm passionate about these days, and it needs a lot of your love and support. Go play it and share it with your friends. Poppy Playtime, to say the least, is a very interesting game. For many people, it was seen as a new high-quality mascot horror game that would compete with FNAF and Bendy. However, for me and a minority of people, this game shocked us, but not in the way you might think. I remember when the first ever trailer of Poppy Playtime came out, I didn't really care about it. While I still wanted to play it because I enjoy the style of mascot horror games, I never thought it would become as successful as it is today. And after a few weeks of its release, I decided to jump in and play Chapter 1. The first chapter of Poppy Playtime was enjoyable, to say the least. I liked the look of the environments, even though they weren't as polished as they are right now after the shift to Unreal Engine 5, and the grab bag is a clever gimmick and very satisfying to use, unlike another gimmick. And the grab bag allows for creative puzzles. As I mentioned, it's satisfying to just grab things from afar or slap the walls. And the final chase sequence was 10 out of 10 in all aspects. The build up, the way the game forces you to look at the threat, the monsters animations, and the death scene was so good. The last scene, featuring the doll called Poppy Awakening, served as a good cliffhanger. And that's it. Wait, that's it? Yes, Chapter 1 ends after about 15 minutes. By the way, it was priced at $5 back then, unlike now. And this was the main criticism people had at that time, and I agree with it. Some people might say, well, the developers were kind of forced to charge for Chapter 1 after the failure of the Kickstarter. Not to mention, Chapter 1 is still a paid experience on consoles until this day, which is quite unreasonable. However, since Chapter 1 is too short, there is not much to criticize or compliment. Despite it being short, Chapter 1 was enough for the game to take over the mascot horror scene and inspire many other games. It was shocking, especially for someone who followed the game since the first trailer was released. After Chapter 1, there was some controversy regarding the developers of Poppy Playtime mob games, but this isn't the channel to cover that. Now, let's talk about Chapter 2. But before that, did you know I have a Patreon? If you'd like to support the channel directly, for just $3 a month, you'll gain access to progress updates regarding YouTube videos on the VIKMO Show. If you can support me on Patreon, I would appreciate if you could leave a comment and like this video. Now, where was I? Oh yes. After the controversy and making Chapter 1 free, we received Poppy Playtime Chapter 2. It's longer and features more gameplay. Generally, Chapter 2 feels more like a complete game compared to Chapter 1, which felt more like a tech demo or proof of concept. Chapter 2 adds multiple gameplay sequences that work well. There are more puzzles, and they are more creative than those in Chapter 1 thanks to a new ability you gain, the green hand. By slapping these green glowing objects with the green hand, you can activate certain elements within the puzzles as long as the light is still on the hand. This chapter also introduces Miss Poppy Playtime, who is a cute doll. I don't think the story is the strongest aspect of Poppy Playtime. Each character can be described in just a few words. The new antagonist, Mommy Longlegs, has a cool design, but I'm not entirely clear on her motivations. She seems to enjoy playing games in the game station for some reason. Perhaps all of this is explained in lore notes and tapes, but I couldn't be bothered to find out. Nothing about these characters piques my interest in learning more about them. Additionally, I'm not a fan of hiding your story in notes and other materials outside of gameplay. This doesn't necessarily mean that the story you're telling is bad, but for me and others, this method of storytelling is the least engaging. Dark Deception falls into this same trap until it suddenly changes direction at the end of Chapter 4, which feels very odd for casual players. I love games that tell their stories during gameplay, allowing you to experience events, character development, and the payoff of that development. The story presented during gameplay in Poppy Playtime fails to create any investment. Who cares if Poppy gets kidnapped? Who cares whether the character we play as die? Who cares if Kissy Missy gets hurt? I barely know her and have zero reason to care about her. I understand this might not matter to many players of Poppy Playtime because they're not looking for a story. They want a spooky, fun game to enjoy, and that's perfectly fine. Poppy Playtime delivers on that front. Alongside the cool grab pack gimmick, the chase sequences are executed really well, they are intense, and the way the game combos you to face the threat chasing you is excellent. The death scenes are even better. In general, Chapter 2 is an upgrade over Chapter 1. It's longer, with more engaging gameplay, and improved animations. All in all, Poppy Playtime is a good game that deserves the popularity it has gained. And that's it! The next video will probably be a game none of you heard of. Unlike Poppy Playtime, it's bad, but I'm sure you're gonna like the video. Hopefully after 3 weeks from now, and see you next time.